Alright, so let's go this spread. Although when he sees Dante, simp, you fiend. Although when he sees Yami. Yo, you got that right, guys. We all simp for Yami, but Dante's a simp for Lucifer. That's just the way it is. Yo, S10 meme, fam. Upload that shit, bro. That's like, go to meme. Go to meme. This dude is a simp for Lucifer, bro. See, for Lucifer, bro. Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. And just as I promised, today's Black Clover video will be featuring you. Yes, you. I will be discussing Black Clover theories and memes on the Anime Balls Deep Reddit as the community keeps on growing. Other anime will have their separate videos of course, but if you want to be involved, make sure to follow us on Reddit and start posting. Don't be shy guys to harness the power of balls deep prediction magic. We are all sharing our mana at the end of the day, right? And we want to go beyond our limits. So if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to let me know any improvements to make in the comments and smash that like button. That way I know you want me to continue reading your thoughts and put a beacon or shining light on the best fans of our community. Yes! So starting off with a thread from Immorality, he wants to try and explain the origins of devils using balls deep prediction magic. The reason I want to use Immorality as an example is because he adds factors of evidence, chapter numbers and lore to back up a theory. He is essentially harnessing my powers, right? Like some of you legit make statements or assumptions and call that a theory. For example, a lot of you guys DM me on Twitter or Instagram, right? Or even Discord, and you say, hey BD, I know the answer in Black Clover. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And then you guys just tell me, Asta is the son of the devil. That's literally it. That's all you tell me. That's all you would tell me and call that a theory?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
A theory is when you bring factors of correlation, evidence, and data to create a formal statement of ideas that are suggested to explain a fact or event or how something actually works. Now we have the origin of the devil, a BC theory. This theory is from Immorality. Previously I had made a theory on how the humans and elves could have potentially been the origins of the devils. Aldo told me I read too deep into it. If you want to read the theory in question, here it is. Back during the elf resurrection arc, Zagred turned Patri into a dark elf. He also tried this with Licht, meaning he knew that turning elves into dark elves through despair was an actual thing. This would tie in with your theory about how history is repeating itself, Anime Balls Deep. To explain in more detail, we have to go back and visit the apostles of Sephira. Licht was in the position of crown, basically the one closest to God. And back during the flashback to 500 years ago, Licht used the magic stones and turned himself into this demonic being, which although quite different with a few details off, is probably the closest thing we have seen, at least on a Bruh, what Immorality using these big ass words for anatomical level to Lucifer? Yo, fam, you need to calm down, man. Man's brain is too big, guys. You guys in the community got big brain. You guys using that balls deep prediction magic, huh? Trying to look good in front of Anime Balls Deep, huh? Anyway, so far this theory is solid because there is a god that the elves worship. This was confirmed to us already, that they have a divine being. Anyway, continuing on the theory, at this point you might have already connected quite a few dots. Licht is someone who had gone through a failed dark elf transformation and turned into a demon, while being the one that is in the same position as Lucifer when it comes to the positions in their respective trees, which is the one that looks closest to Lucifer. Now he's talking about the tree of death, the Clethot tree. Another point to demonstrate is the fact that Zagred, a human not blessed by mana, only got a tiny horn and turned into a bird. Honestly, at first it doesn't make sense that it happened in the same flashback, and also when Tabata built it up as if Zagred was going to go through worse repercussions, it would make sense if Tabata did that to demonstrate a point to the audience. To further prove my point, there's been a popular theory around Asta's devil being a fallen angel, and I think it could be something different yet similar. In mythologies, you have something called mythical parallels, where two different mythologies and theologies might share some extremely similar parallels. One of them would be the elves and the angels paralleling the Norse mythology mythologies and the Abrahamic teachings. Lucifer in Christianity and other religions is known to be an angel who fell from grace and became the devil. I'm taking a while to get to the point, but what if devils were originally from different races? Back in chapter 252 and 246, we see far different designs from the typical devil we have seen in the series so far. This would explain their difference in looks, as they are not on the same level as the other ones who got turned into devils from a far more purer form originally. Also, a little side note, if this theory is true, then could Zagred originally have been an elf? I mean, think about it. He knows about the process of the dark elf transformation, specifically searched them out and knew about their existence and location, and not only that, but he also has very pointy ears to further prove my point. In the Tree of Life, Ron is the representation of wisdom. Zagred, who has taken over Ron's body, displayed the same attribute, wisdom, the ability to carefully plan. Adil told me I was reading way too deep into this, which admittedly I potentially was. I started to rethink and doubt this concept was even likely to be canon in the series. And miraculously, chapter 258 arrived. Asta gives up his arm to the anti-magic demon for more power, meaning the anti-magic demon will eventually take over Asta's body piece by piece until he possesses Asta, effectively turning Asta into a new devil. Well, it might be too early to say for now, but I think my theory has once again gained more validity. If Asta's arms permanently becomes the devil arm, it means a portion of his body has evolved into a demon, right? Okay, firstly, can we get a round of applause to Immorality for starting off the Reddit videos with a complete banger? Woo! Okay, so I think he's definitely onto something here, because there are multiple things I can agree with, as it could potentially be a direction Tabata can go with the storytelling of Black Clover. The point regarding Zagred having knowledge of dog elves becoming eventual devils, and how he wasn't even shocked in chapter 204 when Lich turned himself into a demon god, only refuting at the idea on what Lich decided to do. Damn that pesky Lich, why didn't you just give me your body? You're going to destroy the city anyway. Zagred needed to find someone that had a 4-leaf so that he can change it into a 5-leaf, and a unstable body that has lost its humanity to incarnate himself completely, right? This goes back to the idea of Weg, one way or another. The race that is becoming an eventual devil has to give up their humanity or morality per se to be ready to take over. There seems to be more than one way to become a devil, as Licht proves this by using the most forbidden magic of all that made him into the demon god. This theory makes sense because it would explain why Asta, who is monoless human, is also capable to gradually become a devil by giving parts of his body away to the anti-magic demon via a contract, and he gave away his arm as we saw in chapter 258. Asta even mentions that if he has to become a devil to reach his goals, he might consider doing it. Why would he foreshadow this fact? Once again, this seems to be proving balls deep prediction magic is correct, as the continuity continues with what Dorothy stated in chapter 222, that demons come from hell by an anomaly and forming a contract. Now we know that if an elf like Licht can become a demon, and Asta, who is a human, can become a demon through different means, what's to say that other races that have been confirmed, such as dwarves, not become them too? Therefore, this theory is great, because it would then explain why the demons from the history books that the Heart Queen read when Varnica invaded, it showcases different appearances of devil having different types of magic too. We know for a fact that magic attributes and types are linked to the nature of the said character, right? Parts of magic is genetically based on what you receive. This would then explain why different demons have different appearances, ranks, and power levels. Let's not act like the anti-magic demon doesn't look somewhat similar to Asta. Once again, pointing towards another piece of evidence to our anti-magic devil series, as Immorality said, which is the anti-magic demon. He could be another race like an angel that eventually turned into a demon or a human. It could be Asta's father or mother whom sacrificed their bodies for him to live on, therefore explaining why, according to the other demons, he has low-tier magic, as Lucifer put it, that no one knows who he is because Asta's mother and father are low-tier civilians. Furthermore, the anti-magic devil has a grudge against his own race and wants to kill them all. This is already confirmed, which makes even more sense. Even Saucy SZN, he seems to be in a similar track than us, where he said in a Reddit thread, what if the flashback of the woman wasn't Asta's memory or his mother, but it was the anti-magic demon's memory from when he was a human or elf? Now that's insane. That would be a crazy plot twist, fam. That would actually be sick, and I would love that shit. Let me upvote that shit. Yuno got the worst of it. Asta gets up after his ass is kicked by Dante fighting beside his captain. Noelle gets acknowledged by Varnica managing bear. Yuno.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yuno got the worst of all three of them. This is so sad. I'd argue that Yuno's the weakest out of the three of them. Like, people would actually have a debate like that. Upvote, upvote. Good ass meme. Boring toe. Yeah, I read this trash called Boruto. I think I get more enjoyment out of reading Fairy Tail. Really, I don't get why Anime Balls Deep spends so much time on this when they can just spend covering time on Black Clover. You freaking haters! No, we will cover all the shonen that we can. Nah, I'm joking. That was a good meme. Thank you.
Bruh.
Charlotte and Yami's wedding night leaked. Safe for death row. Yes! This is why I said in the video, it's so true, bro. I feel sorry for Charlotte, man. Her poo-poo gonna get destroyed, bro. Alright, time for another massive theory thread where people wanted to debunk the recent theory I explained regarding Asia Silva, Noelle's mother, as she could possibly be the person that saved Asta as a baby from Varnica 16 years ago. Now, how dare people try to refute me? No, I'm kidding. You guys can always try to debunk our videos. I love discussion, right? So if you don't know about this theory and you're not on the same page as the community, I'd highly suggest watching the video displayed to you right now, and it will be in the pinned comment. Fault in the theory presented on the last video by the Mad Mafia 2K. Are you approaching me? Are you challenging me? Anyway, I'm kidding. If Asta was the kid Asia saved from Varnica and then died 9 months or 1 year later, then that would mean that Asta is almost a year older than Noelle, but that can't be true because they joined the Magic Knight squads at the same time. Also, you can't get Grimoire until you're 15 years old. The only way Noelle and Asta can join the Magic Knight squads at the same year as each other and the theory to hold true at the same time, Asta must have been born in April of the same year as Noelle, and after being born got kidnapped by Varnica and was saved by Asia. Asia vs Varnica happened around the time of Asta's birth, and since Noelle has to be born in November of the same year, because we know that's her birthday by the way, then Asia must have been pregnant with Noelle during her fight with them, right? Also, Asta gets left at the church on October 4th with Yuno. Therefore, Asta stayed in the Clover Kingdom for 5 months with someone else before being left at the church with Yuno for some reason. Thus, there is a possibility of this person Asta stayed with for 5 months did experiments on him instead of the Dark Tribe. Why would someone just keep Asta with themselves for nothing and then throw him away 5 months later? So the premise of this theory is explaining that Asta must have spent 5 months in the Spade Nation before he ended up in the Clover Kingdom. Now that's something I don't deny either. That is definitely something that I agree with, because the thing is, this theory cannot be debunked yet because of the factor of age. It's still floating around in our community because when we look back at chapter 234, there is no dates. We don't know what the specific timing was when the Zagred siblings did their treason against Spade Nation. It could have been months later. The birthday we got given for Yuna and Asta is the day that they got left at the church, but Tabata can decide to change this by revealing their backstories. It would not specify that information found at the church at this date instead of outright saying their birthdays otherwise, because my friend Tabata, he has a plan. So Asia Silva could have technically saved Asta but got pregnant with Noelle, or was in the early stages of pregnancy while she was facing Varnica in the very beginning, because there are quite a few people trying to debunk this theory, but age is not a way of debunking it. The age ranges of 15 to 16 are still valid between the 3 characters ever since they met. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this theory is solid, nor am I saying it's 100% it will come true, because at the end of the day, ballsy prediction magic isn't 100% fact, it's just a good theory. But a lot of you, and I mean a big section of the pie of this community, were mind blown when we explained it last week, so I highly suggest you go watch the video. And when I asked on Twitter the followers, they think that this theory is actually possible. 62% majority said yes. We all know that Asta and Yuno were found at the church at the same time on the 4th of October, meaning that they were both likely located at the Spade Kingdom and involved in the interconnected story as the Light Triad. Another fact that Asia Silva is somewhat involved in this treason in this storyline is because she fought Varnica and got cursed, and then she died a year later or so, right? So October 4th cannot be Asta's actual birthday, because we also know for a fact that traversing the Grand Magic Zone without a Candelo technology, that shit is difficult. They've already explained that to us. So it must have taken days, months, or whatever time it could have been for these two babies to pass this zone and reach the outskirts of the Clover Kingdom where the church is in the first place in Hodge Village. So right now, I do still think the theory is intact that Yuno and Asta were definitely born before Dante, Varnaka, and Zenon did their treason, and it still holds true that Varnaka could have held Asta hostage to make Asta Silver power up and try her best to get the child back. But with Mad Mafia 2K, the question that he brings up is what was happening to Asta in those 5 months or those few amount of times that he was spent in Spade Nation before going to Hodge Village. That's a good question to bring up because we don't know. That's the time that he could have been experimented on. That's the time where the mother died in the flashback, right? So we have to wait and find out what the information will reveal. Yuno and Asta could be 9 months older than Noelle without them knowing, which would still keep them all around the same age and getting the grimoire at the same time. Now, to give this theory even more information is the Asta and Asta connection. It's from YouTuber SG Sammy, shout out to him. But basically, in the first interaction between Asta and Noelle, he notices the silver hair immediately and he's shocked. This could be a double entendre foreshadowing, in which obviously Asta was witnessing silver hair and he was probably seeing a royal for the first time, and the manga was trying to emphasize the point that Noelle is a royal and she's amazing because of her silver hair. But it also could be a fact that Asta as a baby, he's remembering that, oh my god, when I was a baby, because this is how anime works. I know baby don't got memory, but this is anime, fam. Anime bullshit science, of course. But basically, Asta remembering the silver hair, that, oh my god, I remember when I was a baby. This connection with Noelle is more than I think, because there was this woman named Asta Silva that had silver hair also that saved me as a baby, and she was like blah 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 blah. You guys get the point, right? Anyway guys, that's the first Reddit video. I think it was pretty amazing. Shout out to all the people that got featured in the first ever Reddit video on this channel. Make sure to smash the like button if you think we should do this more. Thank you for supporting us all the time. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and Twitch, and I'll see you guys next time to go balls deep.